Well, 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 what do we have here? Another live session. Let's see what we can do today, huh? Let's see what we can do. I believe we're on chapter 20, if I remember correctly. That is good news. Yes. Chapter 20. Okay. Okay, we've got everything we need. We've got the multi-stream chat up. We did our vocal warm-up exercises. We should be ready to go. Oh, I can't spell. Shite. Okay, let's do it. Ooh, I gotta turn on my speakers. Audio check, 1, 2, 3. Please activate. Turn on my speakers. Audio check, 1, 2, 3. Please activate. They activated. Hooray. Okay, here we go. Chapter 20. Christine. The liquor flowed, which was the only way I was keeping sane. The music remained festive, although archaic. The conversation was lively, if not argumentative. The food had been delicious, with way too much money spent. Lobster tail and fillet, my father's favorite since he was a meat and potatoes man. The lobster was a stretch, but as long as the delicate meat was slathered in hot butter, he was fine with it. It's Maria, welcome. Was fine with it. Was fine with it. He was fine with it. Was fine with it. I could tell my mother's intervention with an what? Was fine with it. Was fine with it. I could tell my mother's intervention with an antipasto salad. I'm probably saying that wrong. Let's find out together. Antipasto? Antipasto? Hey, I'll be honest with you. I don't even know what that is. I don't even got the slightest idea. I mean, other than it might be a pasta of sorts. Salad, you know.
Antipasto.
Antipasto, is that what I said? What's up, Unholy? Oh, my mother's intervention with an antipasto. Antipasto, okay. And with it. I could tell my mother's intervention with an antipasto salad. And my sister's choice for her special day? Beluga caviar. Only the best for her upcoming, yet hell would freeze over, first nuptials. I'd watched her fiancé, a guy with a very high opinion of himself, feeding her rounded spoons. Spoons? Why did I say spoons like that? What's up, Brittany? Brittany and Arthur. Himself, feeding her nuptials. Okay. Nuptials. Nuptials. I'd watched her fiancé, a guy with a very high opinion of himself, feeding her rounded spoons of the expensive delicacy, while there's a fucking loudest car in the world driving by. Okay, we'll love that for a second. Nuptials. Okay. Nuptials. I'd watched her fiancé, a guy with a very high opinion of himself, feeding her rounded spoons of the expensive delicacy while she giggled and batted her eyelashes. I'd chugged another larger shot of tequila and would have consumed more had my date not prevented me from doing so. Of course, Danny was right in keeping me from killing myself over my family. At least the alcohol had taken the edge off my anger, as well as the crazy desire I'd felt for my handsome flower killer. Whatever had gotten into me, I liked it. I'd never been so free with my acts of lust. Oh, yeah.
My acts of lust. My acts of lust.
My acts of lust. Should I make my... I should. I gotta make my script smaller. I got too much to have my eyes go through. Okay, that's a little better. With me acts of lust and me lucky charms.
My acts of lust.
Much more exciting than the topics being discussed. The group of people was lackluster at best. Other than the gorgeous man who'd been sitting to my right. What's up, Min? Sorry, what's up, Min?
Luster at best. Luster at best.
Lackluster at best.
Luster at best.
Other than the gorgeous man who'd been sitting to my right, at the long table full of boring people. There were 2 senators and their wives, a judge and some attorney, and by the way he'd been leering at me since I'd walked into the recreational room, the man I was supposed to marry. My mother wasn't a good liar, nor could she hide her intentions. She'd tried 3 times to mention I'd originally gotten a scholarship to study law, which I'd wanted nothing to do with, and I enjoyed reminding her I was nothing but a lowly teacher. The dude didn't seem put off by my less than acceptable profession. Thankfully, my sister had attempted to control the emotional level of the dinner conversation, going on relentlessly about the 6-carat diamond on her finger, which would be the largest for her collection. The wedding venue selected, which was another archaic monument to nepotism and wealth, and the 2-month honeymoon they had planned. What's up, Min? Welcome, welcome. Hello, Angel White.
Ad planned.
Let me scroll here.
Planned.
If anyone was a fly on the wall, they might say I was jealous of her. Maybe so. She'd always gotten the cutest boyfriends where I had no suitors until my senior year in college, and even then, the single boy who'd asked me out had been... dull. The story of my life. Until now.
Ow.
I was standing in the halls of Congress when a young kid walked up to me, tugging on my jacket. My father pushed his plate away, and immediately, one of the usual hired help yanked the plate away. Utter perfection at every turn. What happened? Judge Watkins asked, a man who shouldn't ever take another bite of food. The little tyke held up a stuffed wolf when...
Take another bite of food.
The little tyke held up a stuffed wolf, and with his parents standing right behind him, he was brave enough to ask why I wanted to kill all the wolves. The entire table laughed. Except for Danny and me. I sensed his anger, given I'd briefly told him what my father had been working on since day 1 of the great shifter discovery. Eradication. Danny's reaction was much stronger than I'd expected, and red flags had been risen, even if I wasn't certain why. What did you tell him, Daddy? Delaney was quite interested. What's up, Greg? I tossed my napkin on the table, shoving aside my barely touched food. Yes, Father, whatever did you say to the poor child? My father had rarely glanced in my direction since my embarrassing outburst when I'd walked into a room full of people. He hadn't even bothered to try to hide his disappointment or lower his voice. I told the little boy that, unfortunately, wolves were dangerous creatures, and that I was working very hard to keep him and his mommy and daddy safe. I also told him sometimes sacrifices had to be made. Of course, I didn't tell him I was talking about heinous creatures who shouldn't be allowed to walk this earth. What's up, Grace? Welcome.
Allowed to walk this earth.
I bristled to the point I almost rose from the table. Do you want me to take him out for you? Danny whispered in my ear, trying to bring some levity. The loudest vehicle is driving by! Holy fucking shit! Golly.
From the table. From the table.
Do you want me to take him out for you? Danny whispered in my ear, trying to bring some levity. But his skin was hot to the touch, the current flowing between us stronger than before. I wish you would. My voice was just loud enough. My father solely concentrated his stare on Danny. I felt the scrutiny coming on. Tell me, Danny, what do you think about the inclusion of shifters into our society? To Danny's credit, he carefully cut and took a bite of his blood-rare steak before pushing the plate away. He'd been doing nothing but studying my family as a paleontologist would in observing. What happened? What's up, William? He'd been doing nothing but studying my family as a paleontologist would in observing dinosaurs. ZI8-0, Zeno? What's up? You're a YouTube person. They all seem to be weird. No judgment, but I'm just saying, the last few days you guys have been coming in droves.
Source.
Blue Sheep, what's up? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Source.
Alright, dinosaurs.
Source.
I think the people who are terrified of shifters have never spent any time. Let's say the words right, huh?
Source.
I think the people who are terrified of shifters have never spent any time with any of them. People often fear what they don't know. Sadly, that makes them look irresponsible and, quite frankly, unintelligent. For all the bantering, bickering, and cutesy talk we'd engaged in, I'd yet to see Danny's serious side. I had to admit, I was quite impressed. I was also holding my breath and his leg with one hand while my father's eyes narrowed to tiny slits. What's up, Katrina?
Any slits.
I knew that look. I'd experienced it many times in my life. While I could feel anger simmering under my dad's skin, he was aware of how many important guests he had surrounding him and was willing to put up with the stranger's unseemly assessment of his favorite subject. Please continue, Danny. As a senator of our great state, I'm always happy to hear from my constituents. My father was practically gloating, eager to trip up Danny. Danny appeared far more comfortable than I was, taking his time pushing his chair back and crossing his legs.
Crossing his legs. Crossing his legs.
He was far more reserved than I thought possible. But I could see the fury in his eyes. He was angry because of and for me. Now that was the mark of an incredible date. Perhaps I'd been wrong about him. First instincts shouldn't always apply. What I think is irrelevant. What I know is that shifters are just like humans, because half, if not more, of their DNA is Homo sapiens. While you might think they suddenly appeared on this earth, every shifter determined to take over the world, you'd be wrong. The truth is that they've been around for generations, blending in as any culture would do. They have families and friends, both shifter and human. They go to school, pay bills and taxes, enjoying celebrations and holidays. They are people with special attributes, some good, some corrupt, just like humans. I'd be damned if he didn't level his gaze at my father, emphasizing the last words. I was close to whistling when my father offered a slow and steady smile. But they eat people, Delaney offered in a hushed voice. My God, even my sister believed that crap. Trust me, sissy, you wouldn't appeal to their tastes, especially a big, bad wolf with long, sharp canines. Christine, my mother chastised, don't terrify your sister. Well, what's up, Liv? Oh my God. Levately? Levitally. Oh my god, I can't even read your name. My apologies.
Don't chastised.
Don't terrify your sister. Danny cleared his throat, and I could feel his hidden amusement. Was this what normal families were all about? They don't eat people, he insisted. That is a horrible rumor that keeps shifters from living an enjoyable life. They're constantly crucified by the press and certain members of society. Wow, he knew a lot about them. The flags were waving, a strange sensation rushing through me. The Archist, welcome! Oops, I deleted that. Let me redo it. There we go. What is it that you do, Danny? I don't believe I've asked. I was about to interject when the hard squeeze Danny offered my leg was an order to keep quiet. I had to admit, I liked his dominating side. I'm a surgeon. Oh, really? He did not lie. I turned. Really? He did not lie. I turned my head, staring at him, but Danny wasn't budging. Impressive, Senator Jacobson said, nodding to my mother. Well, I'm very happy to see my daughter has finally come to her senses in choosing someone worthy of her family name. My dad raised his glass as if in a toast. Oh, please, Father. The holier-than-thou routine is getting old. I just want what's best for my daughter. Always. For her to date a man beneath her, someone like a maintenance worker, would crush this man's soul. Fuck. Someone like a maintenance worker would crush this old man's soul. Let's all head to my study where I have some news. I'd had enough. So much so, before I knew what I was doing, I'd shoved back the chair, easily fighting off Danny's controls, and leaning over the table with my hands dangerously close to the bowl of butter, which I envisioned throwing in my father's face. The joy doing so would bring me should be repulsive. It wasn't. I'm glad you approve, Father, because Delaney isn't the only one getting married. Danny popped the question. Two things happened of note. One, my date kicked me under the table with enough force I bit back a moan of anguish. And two, I'd not only managed to suck the wind from my sister's sails, I'd also shocked my mother and father. They were confounded, glaring at each other with indescribable expressions. And the poor attorney they'd promised I'd be kissing like a frog at midnight was beside himself, bubbles floating from his thin lips. Boy, we have an active, it's loud in my neighborhood today. Golly. You're not supposed to drink carbonated beverage while narrating, but you can't stop me from living my life. Delicious. It's so good. His thin lips. Now, I'm going to freshen up, and when I come back, I do hope champagne will be served. I waited the obligatory 5 seconds to see if my father had the cojones to challenge me. He didn't. When I turned, I winked at Danny and walked from the walked from the room with my head held high. My legs were about ready to shatter into a million pieces. Somehow, I was lucky enough to make it to the hall bathroom. You know who decided to push his way inside, closing the door after him. What do you think you're doing? Danny asked. While his tone was demanding, the amusement in his eyes was illuminating. He was having as much fun sticking it to my father as I was. We were like peas in a pod. Getting married? Are you crazy? What did you think you were doing? A surgeon? Really? My demand was more of a hiss. We glared at each other, the heat between us prepared to explode for an entirely different reason than only hours before. Where I'd only hungered for him to the point of losing my mind, I was now too furious. Well, that wasn't entirely true, but the anger was winning out. Ooh, welcome my dog. My dog is now barking. Hooray! Hooray! Winning out. Oopsies. Winning out. We can't get married, he insisted. You think? I wouldn't marry you if you were the last man on Earth. Good. He backed away before his brows furrowed. Why? Because neither one of us wants to get married. True, I don't know why I lied to your father, other than that he's the most condescending man on this planet. I forgot to scroll. Hooray. And on this planet. Don't say I didn't warn you. Are all families this horrible? You'll need to tell me about yours. Oh, my father can be annoying, but he'd likely grill you on figure skating statistics from 15 years ago versus grilling you on politics. And my mother would feed you until you exploded. Sounds amazing. Anyway, we'll just pretend while we're here. We can leave in about 15 minutes. All right, I can handle that. Your father's a piece of work thinking all shifters need to die. He's assuming there really are shifters. I don't think he's ever seen one. Danny glanced toward the door, huffing and puffing. Shifters exist. Trust me. Is there something you're not telling me, Danny? I mean, you know a lot about shifters, which surprises me. If there's something you need to say, please do so. The hard bam on the bathroom door brought the same ugly reaction from the two of us. What? We yelled at the same time. At least Danny did At least Danny managed to throw open the door, his expression one I'd never forget. As if he would eat the person alive for the interruption. Daddy sent me to find you lovebirds, Delaney cooed, still flirting with my date while she had hers wrapped around her heavy ring finger. I wonder how she'd feel if the diamond suddenly disappeared. I wondered for myself how I'd feel if she disappeared. She even had the nerve to blow him a kiss before scampering off. I was already reaching for her, sadly unable to get around my date. Whoa, Bad Bunny. You can't kill your sister. How did you know what I was thinking? And why not? He grinned as he did fucking what? Why not? He grinned as he'd done before, only I detected a hint of evil. Because you and I are a lot alike, and because we already spent time with Barney Fife tonight, I really don't want to do it again. Barney Fife? How old are you? His shrug was adorable. I glared at my reflection in the mirror, making a lewd face before pushing him toward the door. Let's get this over with. Yes, ma'am. While my legs were stiff, it certainly wasn't from the heat that had registered at 1,000 degrees. I was angrier than I'd been in my entire life. Maybe I was really finished with allowing my parents to take advantage of me. Yay me. What's up, Sophie? Yay me. We headed to my father's study, an expansive room full of bookcases and books, of which he'd likely read none. But he certainly wanted the few guests allowed inside But he certainly wanted the few guests allowed inside his inner sanctum to believe he had. We stood in the dark, my anger refusing to subside. As the waiter passed with a huge silver tray, I almost swiped 2 glasses of the expensive cognac for myself. I held back. For now. I really do appreciate everyone being here with Sheila and me tonight. Not only are we celebrating the upcoming marriage of my lovely daughter Delaney to a man who will be the fuck! My lovely daughter Delaney and me tonight. Not only are we celebrating the upcoming marriage of my lovely daughter Delaney to a man who will be president one day, but also of my other daughter to what appears to be a fine-looking doctor. Of some type. Anyway, that's not the only reason we're here. My mother seemed to be beside herself, even clapping her hands. This should be big, I breathed. After careful consideration and talking with my lovely wife, tomorrow morning I'm going to announce that I will be running for the governor of this great state. Once I win, and I will, I assure you that my first mandate will be to establish stricter laws affecting shifters of all types. When he dared look straight at Danny, I was incensed. I was exhausted from years of my father belittling boys I dated. What few there'd been. Don't do it, Danny whispered again. If you're a good bunny, I'll give you a treat later. I couldn't help myself, throwing him a look, but he was right. My father was doing his best to goad us. We'd wait until his buddies provided the accolades he thought he deserved, then we'd leave, and I could finally breathe again. When the group was finished congratulating him, I moved closer. Just a stepping stone, Father. To what? I haven't become governor yet. He thought he was so funny. And what do you hope to achieve by trying to destroy the shifters? I'm not trying to destroy them, Christine. I just want them to know their place. They're animals. That's it. They shouldn't be allowed the opportunity to become our teachers and politicians. God knows I wouldn't want one being my doctor, and especially not doing surgery on me or anyone in my family. I'm going to protect humans, which includes your soon-to-be husband. Soon-to-be husband. All eyes appeared to be on me. I honestly don't know why I'd bothered coming. Soon-to-be husband. All eyes appeared to be on me. I honestly don't know why I'd bother coming. Fuck! Soon-to-be husband. All eyes appeared to be on me. I honestly don't know why I'd bothered coming. Well, we need to be going, Dad. Danny has a surgery in the morning, so we can't stay. Enjoy your party. I was trying to be polite, ignoring the pangs of anguish and disgust I felt with myself. With myself. Oh, Lordy! Boy, it is a quiet chat today. With myself. I felt with myself. Why can't I find my spot? There it is. Myself. I'd managed to guilt Danny into lying about what he did for a living. I took a sip of my cognac, savoring the rich, smooth flavor. But not even $2,000 a bottle French cognac could ease my nerves. Or my anger. I'd become my parents, and it unnerved the hell out of me. So did the fact the entire group was enjoying themselves.
The hell out of me. The hell out of me.
So did the fact the entire group was enjoying themselves, and I was more incensed than I'd been in probably my entire life. That's why, without thinking the consequences through, I opened my mouth and spewed. Let me tell you something, Father. You always told me the measure of a man was all about what he had in the bank and what he did for a living. And for the longest time, I believed you, as if there couldn't be any decent men out there for me. You led me to believe you actually gave a damn about my welfare. But that was one big fat lie, wasn't it?
About my welfare.
But that was one big fat lie, wasn't it? The silence was exactly what I was going for. You could hear a pin drop. But of course, my father was too self-righteous to answer. With Danny shaking his head, I winked and mimed 2 words. Trust me. I spun around, slapping my hands on my hips. I'm tired of playing your games any longer, Daddy. What are you talking about? He finally asked, his entire face scrunching together in fake confusion. What games do you play, daughter? You brought your fiancé home to meet your family, right? That's all this is. I just want you to be with a good man, a decent man. Fine, Dad. Do you see that man standing behind me, Dad? How about you, Mother? Danny Wright is an amazing man. He's kind and thoughtful.
Is an amazing man. Is an amazing man.
He's kind and thoughtful. He's funny and articulate. He makes me laugh and forget about the horrors of this world. He's romantic, so much so that he makes me swoon. Just like I always wanted. He's the real deal. Oh my gosh.
Like I always wanted.
He's the real deal and very good for me.
Like I always wanted.
He's the real deal and very good for me. But here's the thing. He's not a surgeon. He only told you what you wanted to hear because that's how much he cares about me. Christine, Danny said from behind me. No, they need to hear this. He's a Zamboni operator at the TDH Iceplex, where the Tampa Bay Gators practice. I hesitated to confess the only place where I'd allowed myself to feel peace. But I was finished with hiding from anyone any longer. And it's where I go to skate every week. What? My dad.
What?
Dad was confounded. My mother moved to the front. You can't skate. Apparently I can, and it makes me happy. Do you know what else makes me happy? Danny. He was so cute with the machine, trying to skate in rhythm with the Zamboni. And you know why? Because he can't skate and wanted to meet me. That's what a real man does, Dad. He goes out of his way to try and meet the girl. Christine, Danny said again, a strange shift in his tone. But don't worry, Dad. I'm not here to ask for my trust fund. You can give it to Delaney as a wedding present. Sadly, they're 2 people who know nothing about each other, and even though I haven't known Danny for very long, I knew he wouldn't lie to me. We're digging a deep hole here.
Wouldn't lie to me.
He's the one man I can count on. The real deal. Have a good election. I felt vindicated and very much alive. Fuck.
Very much alive.
It was the first time I'd truly opened up about my feelings, and I was very happy with myself, even if it had taken far too long to get here. My father had the audacity to clap, as if this was all a joke. Well, I'm glad to see the two of you are on the same page. I would hate for your marriage to get off on the wrong foot. Tess, welcome back. Welcome back. Hello to you too.
The wrong foot. The wrong foot.
Especially since, given my announcement tomorrow, everything about your life and the people in it will be scrutinized. Yes.
Scrutinized.
Is that supposed to scare me, Daddy? It doesn't. I have no skeletons in the closet. I wonder if you can say the same. Ordinarily, my father would get very angry at my lack of respect.
Say the same. Say the same.
Oh, come on.
Say the same.
Ordinarily, my father would get very angry at my lack of respect. But he was smirking. Why was he smirking? I slipped my arm through Danny's, surprised at the expression on his face. I couldn't wait to meet his family. From what he'd told me, they were very normal. Wait a minute. We weren't a couple. We were pretending. Okay, oopsies.
We're pretending.
Christine, I need to tell you something, Danny said, with a far more serious tone than I was used to. Christine, my father said from behind me, which I ignored. You should listen to him. You should listen to him. We can talk, Danny, but later. Let's get out of here first, I told my handsome date, trying to pull him from the room. Do you want me to tell her, son? Or would you prefer that I... Oopsies, I said that fucking wrong.
The room.
Do you want to tell her, son? Or would you prefer that I do? My father's voice held an irked amusement. The sound exactly what I remembered from being a child after I'd misbehaved in some way. I assure you that it's going to come out sooner versus later. Another toss of my head, and that was the moment my sister decided to snap a photograph with her phone. I gave her a Darth Vader stare. What in the hell was fuck?
Stare.
What in the hell was going on?
Stare.
What in the hell was going on? And why was it that fuck. This is a hard sentence, apparently.
Stare.
What in the hell was going on? And why was it that it seemed I was the only person in the room who wasn't in on it? Danny shut his eyes. Like I said, we need to talk. Whoa, what are you trying to do, Father? I tipped my head over my shoulder, not providing him with the courtesy of turning around. Well, I'm glad you remembered to use my name since you fell into some trouble tonight. I'm surprised you would think Officer Matheson wouldn't call me. Danny sighed. Okay, so what? I was exhausted from the ridiculous games. Yes, we stopped on our way to the fuck. Yes, we stopped on the way at a fuck. Yes, we stopped on the way at a park and we're enjoying ourselves. We're young. So what? I couldn't help myself, turning around so I could provide each one of my family members with a dirty look.
What? What?
I couldn't help myself, turning around so I could provide each one of my family members with a dirty look. My sister giggled, obviously in on whatever was going on.
Going on.
So, Danny Wright is married and has 2 beautiful children. So there's a surgeon by his name. So what? No, Christine. Daniel Wright, the Zamboni operator. It took me a full 5 seconds to process what my father had said. Thankfully, no one dared interrupt the silence, not even my evil sister. I couldn't even feel my legs any longer and... Oops.
Sister.
I couldn't even feel my legs any longer when I turned around like some spinning top to look Danny in the eyes. You're married? I wasn't asking. Oops.
Danny in the eyes.
This is like the 15,000th car that has drove by today. Oh my god, there's a detour sign. That's what's happening. I remember they're doing construction.
Eyes.
Thank goodness they detoured him down my street.
Eyes.
You're married. I wasn't asking. I was making a statement. I don't know what I expected. Maybe total embarrassment, or dropping to his knees, blubbering apologies. But I certainly wasn't getting it. He cocked his pretty head, scratching his wrinkled brow with his thumbnail. No, I'm not married. Delaney giggled again. Shush, or I'll cut your tongue out, I snapped. Okay, I'm thoroughly confused. Maybe I really had consumed too much alcohol. You're not married. No, well, Danny Wright is. Happily so. At least, that's what he told me.
He told me.
You know, I was surprised when you didn't take the bait a few weeks ago, my father said. What bait? I turned so I could see both men. What fucking bait?
Bait. Bait.
Wickedly welcome.
Bait. Bait.
You were responsible for the trip to the... Oops.
Bait.
You were responsible for the tip to the Today Show. I got a tip to the Today Show. A lot of T's on that bitch.
Bait.
You were responsible for the tip to the Today Show, weren't you? Danny asked. Wait a minute. Who was the man? My God, his eyes were on fire. Yes, son, I was. I thought what a perfect way to show Americans that their adopted prodigal son was a man-eating beast. You see, your father and his buddy, the mayor of Chicago, are thorns in my side. Now, imagine my surprise and joy in discovering you wouldn't be a guest in my house. I cannot tell you how thrilled I was. You bastard, Danny said, taking a step forward. I moved in front of him, sensing something terrible was going on. My laugh sounded completely maniacal. Who are you? What is my father talking about? Danny, or whatever the hell his name was, rubbed his long, corded neck, and I figured that was an excellent place to punch him in the throat. I almost did, but if I resorted to violence, I wouldn't be provided with an explanation, and I deserved one. The silence in the room was now annoying. Tell me! He looked the other way until I was in his face, his hand fisted and ready to throw a punch. And still, I was attracted to him, even after he'd lied to me. My name is Steven Masters. I'm a center with the Tampa Bay Gators. A hockey player. That wasn't so bad. Not really. Why would you lie to me? Because you said you hated hockey players, for one. Because I wasn't eager to admit who I was to anyone. I'm on a short leash with the team. I bet you are. Oopsies.
The team.
I bet you are. Oopsies, let's do it better.
The team.
I bet you are, Delaney's fiancé said under his breath. Okay, I'm still confused. If I didn't ignore the rest of the crowd, I would lose my ever-loving mind. My father chuckled from behind me. Shut the hell up, please, father! What are you hiding? My sister, in her infinite wisdom, decided to howl. While I would normally blow her off,
Decided to howl.
While I would normally blow off her attempt at being disruptive or cute, I realized exactly why she was making a primal noise. No, I muttered, taking a long stride away from him. Stephen, the name would take some getting used to, nodded. Yes, I'm everything your father is terrified of and hates. A wolf.
A wolf. And
Hates. A wolf. There we go. There we go. Hooray, we did it. Quietest chat of the century. It is fine. It 'tis fine. We'll be back tomorrow, though. We sure will. Chapter 21. Well, he will proceed to try to dig himself out of the deepest hole a ice skater could dig. Thank you for being here.